thank you for watching today. It's all about making doll's heads. It's a particular way of making doll's heads, which is following the Waldorf style. Now, lots of you might not know about Waldorf education, and I'm a great believer that there's always great things that you can pick and choose from certain philosophies and whatever you want to call it, practices, and then you can also not take some of that stuff. But what I really love about Waldorf is just how beautiful and how natural their crafting styles are, and that is basically what my heads are modeled on the Waldorf doll making technique, which I absolutely love. It can be quite tricky because there's a lot of sort of tying of heads involved and maybe making an eyeline, but it doesn't have to be. So today I will show you 3 types of heads. One is a very, very basic, simple head, which is like this one here. It's just a really nice round head covered with the stockinette that we have in several different skin colors and weights as well. When I say weights, I mean the thickness of the fabric, and I will talk a little bit more about this later. That's a really simple head. This one is sort of the next advanced version. Oh, I know. I said earlier to Emma, I said, I'm sure I've forgotten something. I've actually lost the doll. He's somewhere here. He's hiding. He's a very new... I found him. He's hiding in that corner there. This is the next advanced head, which is the same shape, but this time it's got facial features on it, and these are sewn onto it, like embroidered onto it. And then the next one is the Heidi doll, which is, it's not called Heidi, it's hiding. He's actually called Peter. This is Peter doll. And he has got a nose, so he's got more of a shape of a face, and he's got the embroidered features on there. So that's another advance. And this one and this one, I'm sort of gonna, that's the 4th version, but these 2 are very much alike. So I'm gonna call these one. This is the 2nd one, and then this is the 3rd one, where you've got the embroidered. No, you don't have any embroidery. You've got the nose and the eyeline on there, and then the face is actually needle felted. So this is what I'm going to show you today. And it's going to be quite full on, but if you are just here for the ride and you want to have a nice time, sit back and chillax. And oh, that's such a terrible word. Ooh, I said it twice today already. Maybe I said it yesterday. I must not say it again. And I think my children would have a fit. My teenage children would think, Mom, what are you trying to be modern or whatever? So anyway, I'm not going to say that again. But in any case, these heads are, once you've got the knack of it, are really easy to make. And then all you need is a body. And of course, all of that you can find in the Making Soft Doll book, which is up for grabs as a winning prize if you have watched the last 2 mini-me doll making editions on YouTube and on Facebook. And if you are making your mini-me next to the person that it's meant to represent, that can of course be a photograph, then you can enter on our main Facebook page, can enter the photo of the 2, the mini-me and the original, and you can win yourself a signed book, signed by me, Making Soft Dolls book. God, stuck together must have been, what have I done? Okay, you won't get a stuck together book. I wanted to show you that it's signed, but somehow I must have probably spilled tea or coffee on it. That's very likely. Anyway, it's a signed copy of the book. I won't open this one. And the competition is basically make a mini-me. You can watch those 2 editions of the mini-me doll making one still, and on YouTube, and then enter it on our main Facebook group, which is the Makers with 2 S's.co.uk. That is our Facebook handle, and get your entry in by the 28th of February, and then you can win yourself a book and a £15 voucher for our website. But let's start making dolls. But first, I'm going to have a quick look who is watching here today. Remember to give us the thumbs up if you like what you see. Give us the thumbs up, and we are saying hello to Jude today and Fenny and Alicia. Hello, Alicia. Nice for you to be here. I hope you're feeling 100% better. Oh, she's watching me on the big TV. Oh dear, I actually missed my eye earlier when I put makeup on. So you don't look too close, Alicia. Diane is there. Rachel is there. Hi, Rachel from Rachel and Daniel. Nice to see you, Daniel. We have got Kim here and Kaylee and Sandra. Carol is there. Laura is there. I think I said Kim already. Jane, probably said Jane as well. My brain's not working very well today. Diana is there. Ava is there. I still don't know if I'm saying it right. If you're from Norway, it's probably Ava. If you're from the UK, it's Eva. But whatever you want to be called, you can call yourself that. There's Dawn and Meg and Erica and Bridget from the other side of the world. She's calling us a fluffy mob. I like that. I shall use that again. And oh yes, that's the no sound bit. I won't even go there yet. Yay, loud and clear. Excellent. So Eva says, because I live in Norway, I was thinking I order stockinette here and I get it quicker. And guess Friday they told me I will not get it before next month. Oh, well, who knows where it's coming from. I know this is everything's gone topsy-turvy with the postage and the delivery times and the extra costs and everything else. I won't even say the horrible word, but it starts with a B. And it reminds me of another word that I really want to say, but that's a swear word. So Penny is there. And oh, I say it right, Ava. It's Ava. My middle name is Eva. So in fact, I say Eva. That's how the Germans would say it. So probably a third variety here. So today I want to first of all talk to you. I'm going to go to the overhead camera, but I want to talk to you first of all about our 3 types of well, it's kind of a core wool we use for needle felting, but it's perfect for doll making. And if you look at it on the screen, you probably can't tell any difference. I can see that this one here on the right is a lot more yellow. The one here in the middle has got quite a short fiber, and this one here is obviously maybe you can tell it's got a long fiber, and it's the Lanolin Rich, so it's quite sticky. It's great. It is really great for needle felting, but also it's great for doll head making. And before I forget, I will also just tell you that today we have got a prize again, and it is, you can win yourself a needle felt flower brooch kit, which makes 5 brooches. You get in there, oops, wrong way around. You get in there all the wool, water-soluble paper, so it's a water-soluble paper technique. You get your basic wool mat, you get our magic no-sew brooch pins, 3 needles, instructions, and all the materials to make. There are also some beads in there to decorate the inner of the flowers. Somebody put the lid the wrong way around on. Wasn't me. So this is up for grabs. If you, okay, I'm just going to go to the big. This is where I have got to wing it now because I'm actually sort of a question. If you can tell us, oh, for goodness sake. Normally this comes so easily to me, but I'm trying too hard. Okay, tell us tell us 4 names out of the Making Soft Dolls book, 4 names of the dolls in there. Come on, I've already said one. I will drop a few more during the course. So if you remember rightly, I did say Peter, so that there's one for everybody to start off with. I will just give you a hint that the names in the book are they're named after my 4 children, and none of those 4 children are called Peter. So there's 4 more there. However you find this out, I've no idea. What have I done? Okay, but the names in the book, and I will go through the book and show you a little bit more about it. But I'm talking about core wool here. Right, so let's go back. So this is the wool that we absolutely love definitely for the inside of needle felted items, but also for the inside of the wool. Now the Lanolin Rich is great for making doll sets because it's kind of sticks as you're really trying to wind a tight ball. This one here in the middle is our core standard stuffing wool. So what's really nice about it, it's got a nice bounce to it. It's got a short fiber, so you can sort of stuff it into the corner, say, of a toe or a foot or a hand and arm. What's new, and this is the one that we haven't really talked about much yet, is our luxury core wool, and it's organic. And I really love it. It's got a really beautiful sort of yellow tone to it. They're all South German merino, but they're all slightly different. And this one here, I'm going to definitely use some of this. It's got a long fiber. It is actually almost like a Lanolin Rich, but nicer. Look, it's got a really long staple. You can see that you can stretch this a long way before it comes apart. Look, it's got a beautiful, beautiful feel to it. Oh, smells delicious. That smells, the standard core definitely smells a bit more sheepy. The organic core wool smells a less sheepy. And then of course the Lanolin Rich, that smells of lanolin. That's all I can say. So, right. So these are the 3 types of wool. As I'm doing 3 heads, I'm going to use 3 for each one of those. But let's have a very, very quick look before we start into the book. So I'm going to go to the overhead camera and I'll just give you a little flick through the big book, avoiding the first page. So there is something actually about why make Waldorf dolls. And I'm a great believer that dolls are for everybody, not just for children and not just for girls. They are for old people, young people, boys, girls, and anything in between. And it gives you an idea of what the skills and the materials that you need, what you can use for hair, some of the techniques that you need to be familiar with, which are the sewing stitches that you need to know. And I'm a hand sewer, so this is all about hand sewing. However, today I have cheated a little bit and I've got some ready sewn tubes that will cover the heads, and they've been sewn by sewing machine. But you can do all of this by hand. This incidentally looks very weird, but it's actually a bag of sand that has gone into the inside of a doll just to weight it down on her bum, which is really nice because these dolls are quite light. If you want to make them a little bit heavier to make them sort of more weighty, then you can put that in there. So today I'm going to show you the simple head, the double layered head, and then a featured head, which these 2 are very similar, and so are these 2. So I'll show you the different types of how to do these. And yeah, so there's all the different heads in there, and then the dolls start, and the heads are interchangeable on some of the dolls. So you could just decide, oh, I want to make a really simple body, but I want a more sophisticated head on there, then you can do that. Or I want a more sophisticated body, but actually a much simpler head, then you can do that too. So it gives you this whole option. And then you've got lots of accessories that you can make, including spit it out, Steffi, including clothes and some whether they are made from, you knit or crochet them, or whether you're using materials that you've already got at home, like an old jumper, or maybe you're into sewing anyway, you know your way around that. Hats, little slippers, little booties. And then, as you know, there's a whole section on Doll's House Dolls, because we covered that over the last 2 weeks, which is where my mum came in. Mini me of my mum knitting, as I always remember her. And so what I want to tell you is we have got in here, we have got a Romy doll. We have got, I know the names of my children. We have got a Tomka doll. We have got a Max doll, and we have got a Fenya doll as well. So if that hasn't given you a clue, then I don't know. Right, let's go back to making the actual doll's heads. I'm going to start out with the Lanolin Rich Core because I love it. That's my favorite. And to make the doll's head, you just basically have to roll it into a ball. So to do this, you want it to be as tight as possible. You really, even though it is a soft head, you want the head to be really, really firm. Unless you're making a very, very squishy, soft first doll, then you might want the head to be less firm. But if you're making a doll's head, then you want it to be nice and firm. And you can see how much this wool can shrink down whilst you are rolling it up. Because I'm a needle felter, I now want to felt it, but I'm not going to. But if you're a needle felter and you feel the urge to felt it, you can. I just want this to be, I want to show it so that you can even do it when you're not needle felting. So you can put another layer over the top, maybe the different direction, so you're getting that round shape rather than a long oval shape. And I'm still wrapping the wool around it. This Lanolin Rich Core wool is brilliant because it really does. I think I could almost dare letting go of it. What do you think? Yeah, look, it's holding its own shape. This is all to do with the stickiness of the lanolin that will just hold its own shape. So that's brilliant if you are not a needle felter and you want something that's really sort of, you know, you don't have to hold on to all the time. And then you go around this again, making it a nice firm shape. The firmer the shape is, the more shapely the head will be. So Again, just pulling this tight. So the very, 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 very simple head would just be literally a ball of wool, and then you take your doll jersey, which comes in different colors. I will just show you the different colors so that you can have a look at that. So here on the right, you see all the different skin colors. All of these fabrics, they come in a heavy and in a light quality. Now for the head, certainly if you're making tiny dolls, I would go for the lightweight. But if you're making a larger doll, then you want it to be nice and firm and solid. And remember, it's also a thicker fabric. If you go for the heavy fabric, you would want to go for the heavy one, because if the doll gets dragged along or played with, who knows what happens to dolls in their lifetime, then at least it's a little bit more sturdy, the fabric itself. So the difference between the lightweight and the heavyweight is, I try and show you this on the overhead camera. Where has it gone? There, light. So this is the light one. The grain all runs in the same direction. There's no inside and no outside, and when you stretch it, the stretch goes sideways. It's a lot of stretch. It's actually the worst color to find if it's a light or a heavyweight, because this brown is really hard to tell. But this is definitely a lightweight, and the stretch goes sideways. So it's a little bit like a rib, if you imagine it's been in miniature. This one is a heavyweight, and you have to make sure that you find the right and the wrong side. So the stretch is a lot less, but that's okay. So it stretches less and it has got a wrong side. So when you put, if you make a really simple head and you have to cut a piece off, so ideally you have it so that it literally fits around it, then make sure with this very simple head, it doesn't actually matter so much that which way the grain runs, but you have to make sure that the inside and the outside are the right way around. So don't have the ribbed look on the inside. It needs to be on the outside, and the other side looks almost like the wrong side of a jumper. So I'm just cutting this to size. But if you want to follow a specific doll, then they are all in that doll book, and there's been a really good review written about it, which I'm very excited to reveal at some point. See, that's the wrong way around. So as soon as you put it the wrong way around, you get a very grainy, I don't know if you can see this, but it looks very grainy, and you don't want this. You want the smooth look from the rib that runs on the right side of the fabric. And then you just pack it up as like a parcel, basically. Tie it really tight. And what you get with this very simple head is, and I don't use it very often for that reason, is that you get wrinkles. But if you're just making a rag doll, a very, very simple rag doll, like the first doll, the Romy doll in this book, which is actually the first doll I made for my daughter Romy. Where is she gone now? The very first doll. There she is. It was literally like that, just a square. No, that's not square, that's triangle piece of fabric, doubled up, sewn together, with a head on top and a hat. And she absolutely loved this doll. She was not even 2 years old when I made that for her, and she carried that around everywhere. She loved it and loved it. It looked absolutely disgusting. I tried to wash it several times, but she just absolutely loved it. So that is just a very simple head, and I'm not even going to tie it, because I want to show you the next variety of the head. You can make a very simple head by using this cotton tubing, and for this you have to put it over the head like this, and then you're going to twist it at the top. So twisting it at the top closes it up, and then you come back on yourself and put it around it again. So it's closed up at the top because you twisted it. It only needs one twist, and then you've got this at the base, and you can pull this really tight. And what you do need for doll making, you do need an extra strong thread. And when I say extra strong, I really do mean extra strong. So we sell that extra strong thread as well. You might be able to source some yourself if you've got something like that too. But there is the extra strong thread, and then you just tie this around the base. Really make it really taut, and then secure it, and you've got now you've got the inside of the head ready, and that has got no features, it has got no eyeline. We're not giving it anything. It's literally just a ball wrapped or inserted in that tube. And then what you need to do is you need to sew yourself a tube out of your choice color fabric. So the seam obviously is nice and neatly sewn by the sewing machine. My hand sewing wouldn't look like that at all. Here you've got to make sure that the grain runs in that direction. So you want the stretch to be sideways rather than that way. And this is made from the heavy quality, so it looks wrong on the inside but right on the outside. And then you put this over the head. So it needs to be a nice snug fit. If it's not snug enough, then you need to go over the seam again and make it more snug. So it needs to be nice and snug, and you pull this down so that you can tie the base of it. And just by doing this inside layer, that will now allow you to make a wrinkle-free head, because you're going to tie this at the base, and I'll show you how to tie that. Use your string again. We'll need a bit of a longer string, of your extra strong string or thread, and then you can just cut that there. So you need to tie this, and I would tie it so that you have the front of the head, so you can have absolutely the minimal tiny little wrinkles there. When you sew the head onto the doll, you can get rid of those wrinkles as well by sewing into the not into the top of the wrinkle, but into the gap up between the two wrinkles, and that will get rid of them as well. So the front of the head is now there, and that will make a really nice neat head. And then you sew that back up, which basically this is quite long for the doll, but you could shorten it and sew the back up, and then you have made yourself a head. Now with these dolls, it's really it's quite hard to have a I'm using my scissors that I normally cut wire with. Every hairdresser, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. What are they called again? Seamstresses and let's use some other scissors there. Come on, don't let me down. Oh, they're better. Okay, so I'm shortening this there, and then what you do is you basically sew the top of the head down at the back, so that all you end up with is all you need is that part of the face to be nice and round, so that you get all of the bits that you can see here at the base, and all the bits that you see here at the back are covered up with a hat, and maybe if you use hair, then that's all covered up, and that basically makes your very basic simple head. And I will attempt to sew this while I have a look at the comments. I feel like today is a very boring competition. I'm so sorry. I will try and think harder next time. But okay, so let's have a look what's happening here. Yes, hello. Let's see. Almost right. Almost right. So, oh yes, some people have got it right. In fact, most of you have got it right. Oh, almost. So yes, basically, so I'm going to sew this at the risk of, should I just not sew this? I think I'm going to go to the next head. I will show you the second type of head, rather than spending lots of time of sewing this together, because I will sew one head, but not all three, because we will run out of time. And I should also say that the general rule in our competition is that we pick winners at random. We never judge. We never say oh, you've got the best. You've got the this is exactly the answer we were looking for. So whoever we will pick, whether you got the names right or not, you could now say all kinds of names. You will be the winner. We pick you at random. So don't worry if you don't know the names, and don't worry if you've got it wrong as well. We're just nice, basically. Right. I'm going to go to the next head. So the next head, I'm going to use This is the core stuffing. Now the core stuffing, this wouldn't be my first choice to make a head, but if you want to use it for stuffing your doll and you don't want to buy 2 lots of core wool, then use it. So the fiber is a lot shorter, which means wrapping the head up will be slightly harder because you won't be able to tease the fibers out so much. So and it probably won't be quite so tight, because the whole idea of this wool is for stuffing, to keep it nice and lofty. So I'm I'm going to try and wrap it as tight as I can. Probably don't want to do this in a couple of layers again. Can you see that when I try and pull it too much, I will just pull the wool off, so I can't stretch it as long as I would have done otherwise. I will definitely not let go of this one, because I can feel it's not holding together at all, so I have to hold it together myself. This is not like the Lanolin Rich that will just sort of stick to itself. And then I'm going to wrap another layer around it. You can use other wools to do this. It's not like you won't have a success unless you use our wool. That's not, of course, the case. And in fact, I'm showing you one of the core wools that would be my least preference. I would definitely go for the Lanolin Rich and the organic core wool. And I also noticed that because it's not holding its own shape, it's not actually as nice and firm. So the head is a lot more squishy than the one that I did earlier. Remember, if you're buying the cotton gauze, for this one, you need the 3.5 centimeter one. You can see we're trying very hard to not wrap anything, not package up anything in plastic. We're getting more and more towards plastic-free packaging, and our kits don't have plastic in them most of the time these days. When you get your tube from us, you get 1 meter length, and that definitely makes 2 to 3 dolls, if not more. So when you've got a ball like this that's about to pop open, you can't let go of it. And because it's quite soft, I think I might just add another layer over the top, just to make sure it becomes sort of like I can really squish it into the tube to make it a nice firm head, which might be a little bit difficult to squish it in. So definitely so far the Lanolin Rich Core wool wins, but I've always known that wins the my favor on the doll's heads. So you basically twist the top, and obviously, because it's a long length, or best not use those scissors, make sure you cut enough that it can go over the top and down again. Yeah, got a bit spare there at the bottom if I need to adjust it. And then just pull this over the top again. So this actually, you might want to make a nice soft head. This works really well for a nice soft head. It's definitely not as firm as that. Oh, definitely not. I'm just testing it, but this is definitely not as firm. It's a lot softer. But then that's exactly what you might want. So it's at least you achieve a different firmness on the head with the standard core wool. So again, I'm just wrapping the extra strong thread around the base, and what I often do is to make sure that I get as close to the head as possible. Sometimes I start somewhere, I've started here, working my way up. So as you work your way up, you're also making it closer to the head, and therefore it becomes tighter. And then just follow your thread up. That's just a little tip. And putting a surgical knot on there, I never knew it was called that, but it basically means you go through the loop first, and then once, and then again. And then if you tighten it, it stays in place. So it's not a knot yet, but it doesn't slip open. And then you can put your final knot on the top, cut those strings short. And I have got a head here that's definitely softer, but not as firm as the one that I made earlier. So again, you need to have your stockinette ready. Make sure that if you're sewing this, when you fit it onto the doll, you can you can sort of fit it and stretch it over the top, so you know how much seam you need to allow at the back. So you can make it literally to size. But I want to do next is I want to tie an eyeline on here because we're making a featured head, and for this I need more of my extra strong thread, and I am just going to get that now. So I should have just cut lots of lengths off, but I didn't do that. And the extra strong thread will allow you to tie an eyeline, it's quite important that you tie that eyeline so that you get 2 wraps around the center. So make sure it's sort of equal length, and then you wrap one and then go straight round again. Now what you must never do when you tie an eyeline is twist. So you're not wrapping a parcel. You're keeping it running side by side, so they're literally parallel. And at this point, knowing how to tie a surgical knot really does help. So you go around it once and then go around the loop again and then tighten it. Because and if you haven't got an extra strong thread, but at this point the thread would have pinged, and that's very annoying. So if you don't have anybody to hold your finger there tight, then do use that. Look, I can let go of this and it doesn't pop open with that surgical knot. You can do that. I call it something else in the book because I frankly didn't know it was called that. So what happens next is you've got 2 parallel strands of thread here still. You need to get rid of these ends, so don't just cut them off. And for this, you can just use an ordinary sewing needle, but I am using an extra long doll needle. Now I want to tell you to come and buy these from us, and we will tell you to go and buy them from us because they come in 3 different lengths, and they're really an essential piece of kit if you're making dolls' heads, especially when you're embroidering eyes onto it. But I know that we're really low on stock, but we have ordered more. So if you can't put it in your basket today, then definitely come back and do it over the next few days, because they will be back in. And what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to secure this thread so that I trap the I secure that thread by sewing this. And I have just been asked whether the glassine bags are compostable, and yes, they are fully compostable, recyclable and compostable. So there you go. Right, so just going round this a couple of times so that you trap that thread. So now that eyeline thread is now fastened onto the side of the head, and then you go all the way through the head to the other side where you imagine the ear to be. And that is how you secure that. You might have to sort of try that. This is why you need a long needle to go, literally to be able to go through the head. And then on this side, because the thread's really short now, I'm actually going to use a smaller needle to finish, just to get rid of this thread, just by going around the imaginary ear a couple of times again. But this is not having any purpose other than just securing the thread. So it's quite short now. I'm just using an ordinary needle, and then I just cut that there. And then of course I do need to do this on the other side as well. So I use my long needle again and secure the thread. So I need to go in from the base and to the top of that eyeline that I've tied, so that I'm sewing that into place. That will not budge now, even if I pull it, which is exactly what I'm going to do later. And then go round there a couple of times, as you've done on the other side. There. And oh, where's it gone? There. And then you again, if you don't have to go all the way through the head if you can't do this. You can also just secure it on the same side. That's just an extra securing if you want to do that, but it doesn't have to be that way. So just make sure that it doesn't come open or undo itself. There we go. So now what you have done is you have got you've secured the eyeline thread on either side of the head where you imagine the eye to be. The knot that I've tied is here at the front, and I'm going to do now, what I'm going to do is quite crucial for God, I just tied it up earlier and I have actually, no, hang on a second. I need a crochet hook for this. This is why I'm dithering and dathering and whatnot now. And I know I've got a crochet hook here because I saw it earlier. So I just got to dig for it. So just bear with me while I'm looking. In fact, I'm just going to go on the big screen and you can watch me look for a crochet hook, which I know is here in my very useful toolbox. That's actually very stuffed to the brim. Is that it? No, that. Oh yeah. Oh, I can see it. I've got it. Come on out. Oh yeah, that will do. Right. I'll just go to the overview camera again. So I've got the tight. I'll just have to find my. Oh yes, there's the knot that I've tied at the front there. That bit, that's the ear bits on either side, and then on the back of the head I'm now splitting. This is why you mustn't go mustn't twist it. I'm going to split that thread. One is going underneath the head. This is the back of the head now. Okay, so I'm making the back of the head nice and even, and the top one, again, if you haven't got an extra strong thread at this point, you will definitely regret it because it will just basically break. And I'm going to the top of the head all the way. Just do it slowly. There's no need to force it. It will just sort of slowly move up to the top of the head, which is why it's so important that you secure the ears, or the eye line where the ears are, because what you've got now is a round head at the back, and then you've got your little shaped head at the front, and you've got options. You can leave it as that, or you can put a nose onto it. So have I got a doll that has just got the eyeline? I'm sure I have. Where's that? Oh, there. Right. So if you don't want to put a nose in, oh no, that one has got a nose. Sorry, maybe there was another variety. Come on. I'm still looking for another doll. I know I've got a doll with no nose. Here we go. So this is that head? No, that hasn't got an eyeline. Oh, for goodness sake. Anyway, you can just leave it like this, or you can put a little nose in the middle. If you're putting a nose in the middle, you've got two options. You can either crunch up a little bit of wool and sew it into the center there, like that, okay? Or you can needle felt it. So if you are sewing the nose on, then it might look like that. That's actually slightly lower than the eye line. So this is just sewn on. And as soon as you sew a nose on and you test it on your fabric, because that's what always works if you want to see what the features look like, then you can see that suddenly the features become more pronounced. Or if you don't want a nose on it and you check that, then it's more of a flat face. And obviously the eyes would be sitting here if you choose to sew them in or on. So they're just, or even needle felt them on. So that's where the eyes would be. So either will look really, really cute. And I will just, some people might just say, why don't you put a bead on as a nose? And I show you why. I'll now show you my dear old friend Peter Pippi, actually he's called. He's the doll. He was my first doll that my grandmother made, but she didn't make him for me. She made him for my dad. So he's really old, and he had a nose with a bead inside, and the bead wears through the fabric, and he looks absolutely. I will show him to you close up because I love this doll with all my heart. So he's called Peter Pippi. He needs a little bit of a repair on his hat. It's a crocheted hat, and I think might have had a bit of a moth got to it. He's made from linen fabric because I think that was sort of after wartime. That was what my grandmother had available, and he's got his original linen shirt on as well. I think I've mended him several times. I've sewn his legs back on, and they're all pigeon-toed. I love it. And this is Peter Pippi. Look, he's got this cute little body with this long. Even the button is old. That's an old button there. And his head has been fixed several times, and he's lost an eyebrow. And he's sometimes when you try and wash dolls, you actually make it worse. It's almost like the dirt comes to the surface and then they look really dirty. So he's been washed, which was not a good idea. So keeping them dirty is sometimes better. He's I think he might be stuffed with K-pop. I've never known K-pop, but K-pop is quite an old-fashioned material to stuff things. It's absolutely awful. It's if you don't like fibers floating around and getting to you, then definitely don't get K-pop. It's a very light, almost feathery type stuff, but it stuffs down very solidly. If you can contain it, then it's a good way of stuffing things. And I think that is all my grandmother had. And she made this doll for my dad, and then my oldest cousin played with him because she's 8 years older than me. And then when I went to my grandparents' house, I got to play with him, and he might have ended up in my going home bag, which is I think for years my family was quite in despair, wondering where Peter Pippi had gone, not realizing that he had gone home with me. And since then my children have played with him too. So he's a really dear doll, and the only reason why I wanted to show you him is because he had a bead nose and it wore through. So that's why we don't do bead noses, that's why we do wool noses. So I'm really glad you could meet up Peter Pippi, because he's a good old friend of mine, and I love him very much. I just love his dangly legs. And there you go. Who would have known? My grandmother probably never thought that he would stay with us in the family for all those years. So he's probably now, well, he's definitely, well, he must be. He's probably, sorry, I'm not making much sense. He's probably about, I'd say he's probably 70 years old. Yeah, 70, that is, of course. So yes, so my dad played with him, then my cousin, and then me, and then my children. So it's well, it's three generations, that's it. Right. Going back to making heads. So whether you have made a nose onto your head or whether you have kept it without a nose, either way, you're going to put the stockinette that you've sewn up. This jersey fabric has got many names. It's called stockinette, it can be called jersey, it is called tricot, that's another one. And either way, you have to tie the base as I showed you earlier, nice and tight to the head, and then you sew the back down, and I will show you how to sew one down, but I want to get to the next head as well. If you have made your head and you want to instead of just squishing it into the tube, you want to actually needle felt the shape of the head, then let's go to the third wool here, which is the organic stuffing or core wool. It's well, we call it our luxury core wool because it is organic. Again, you tighten your head by rolling it into a tight ball. Now this definitely rolls nice and tight because it has got a long fiber, so even if you tear some off, you can stretch it. It is a very pure fiber. There's very little vegetable matter in there. The Lanolin Rich, you might end up with a bit of vegetable matter in there. This one is quite, saying that, I've just found some here, but it doesn't matter if it's inside a head anyway. So if you're already planning to needle felt, you can needle felt the head shut. Let's get my felting stuff here, and use your coarse needle, just felt it shut so you can let go of it. That's a good way of also establishing the shape and making it firmer. And I would definitely want to add another layer over the top. There we go. So this is where you could take it to a piece of artwork, because if you are into needle felting, you might really want to go to town on giving that a very sculpted face. If you're inclined to do that, then all I will say is, if you have to exaggerate the features, because once you add for this one you wouldn't need the cotton tubing, so we're not going to use this. But if you add another layer of the stockinette, it will soften the features that you've added onto the head. That is absolutely certain, which is why it's always good to use the stockinette and hold it really tight against the face. Once you've got a nice solid round shape, and this time we're not using the cotton tube because we're holding it all in place by needle felting, then you could start adding features to it. So you can roll a little ball up. It depends whether you're making a young or an old face. You could roll a little ball up and turn it into a nose. You could even add the eye line into it with a needle felted needle. So make the middle of the head visible by adding the it in there. Then add the nose. So you're just felting this into place, going around the outsides first. In terms of felting, the wool felts down nicely. Again, because I know what the Lanolin Rich is like, I would probably go for the Lanolin Rich. But if you like the idea of organic, then this wool is definitely for you, because that's what it is. And it is super soft and it feels really pure. I'm not saying the other wool isn't pure, but it just has a really luxurious feel to it. It's slightly more yellow than the other wools, and it doesn't smell sheepy. Just sniffing it, I hadn't noticed that before, but it hasn't got a sheepy smell. So when you're needle felting a head, the great thing is you have lots of opportunity to work on the sculpting of it before you go anywhere near it with the stockinette. And I feel like I need to add a little bit more of head on top of here. So I'm just adding that on literally as I'm going along. If you've got a multi-tool, go and use your multi-tool. I've got one here. You can definitely use that as well. You might have to take the needles out and just work with 2 needles. It's quite solidly rolled up my shape here. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to use the 3 needles on the tool, but you could use 2 needles. That would work absolutely fine. I've got one knocking around somewhere with 2 needles. And of course, you don't just have to add the nose. You could also add cheeks and more of a forehead. But in any case, the main thing is, do check it with your piece of stockinette. So, and then it doesn't have to look very even, because as soon as you put the stockinette over it, you can see that it sort of flattens out everything else that might be unsightful. And that's basically how you needle felt the head on the inside. And then you just go straight into adding the stockinette tubing over the top. When I start sewing the other head, one of the heads together, as I said I would, that's when we call the competition done. And I'm just checking the time now. Okay, so I'm hoping to finish this in about 10 minutes time. The doll making always takes longer. It's very annoying, but there's a couple of things I want to say. One is that I'm not looking at the comments. I just get distracted, even though that's the part I like. So we have got a couple of things coming up this month still. If you're watching this live, today is the 16th of February 2021. We will be restreaming this on Thursday, the 18th of February at 7 p.m. on Facebook, where there is another chance to win yourself a flower brooch kit, that one. We have got coming up, so it's time for you to get your standing chicken pack from our website to join me for a make-along needle felting live stream throughout March. The first, she's quite an inquisitive, cheeky chicken. I love playing with her. You'll be learning how to needle felt eyes so that they make different expressions, and you can make her nice and her hips nice and broad. You learn how to make the legs as well. I know not everybody's keen on chicken legs, but you could make them fun. Why not make them a different color? Make them green or purple or something like that. And so the pack is available now on our website. It's actually very reasonable, though I can't remember how much it is. And you've also got still chance to sign up to our weekend hug, making a large lamb, a large valley, black nose, black face, whichever way they're called, lamb. It's not just about making the lamb. It's about spending time together with like-minded people, connecting, maybe reconnecting with people. Maybe you've been completely isolated. Face-to-face on Zoom. We are only allowing 10 participants, or 10 Zoom screens, I should say. You can share a screen if you live in a household with people that you're sharing. And the date is, get this right, Steffi, the 13th and 14th of March. Is that right? Did I get this right that time? Oh, I think I've got a doofadanger. What's it called? Is it there? Come on, I know it's there. Weekend hug. There you go. 13th and 14th of March. You get myself and Emma for the whole of the weekend, starting on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and Sunday morning. Saturday evening is going to be a total social fun stint with lots of laughter. Train your laughing muscles already, because they will be hurting otherwise. And the box that you will be getting will not just have the full makings for the lamb in it. It will have a surprise make in there. It has also got all the tools that you need to make it, including the things that we normally don't put into kits. I don't want to give too much away. You will be getting extra treats, edible treats, nice treats that we want to completely make all your senses go, ooh, what's this? Whether it's looking at it, feeling, smelling, tasting, all of that. So hearing, because you'll hear us all laugh. And it also falls onto Mother's Day Sunday. So maybe this is an idea to give your mum a treat, or maybe it's a good idea to place a firm hint to somebody and say, you wanted to get me something for Mother's Day. Why not? It's going to be a different Mother's Day. You're not going to be able to go out and eat nice out in a restaurant. I really very, very much doubt that. Who knows? You might be able to, but I doubt it. But in any case, whatever it will be, at least you have the certainty that it's going to be a Zoom, and you've got something to look forward to. We've run one on end of January, and it was a huge success. And anybody who was there will tell you. So go and have a look on our website, because the testimonials are on there. Drop us an email if you're interested in this. That's the way to book with us, and then you're in business. Right. We've also got we're only just halfway through the month with this month's subscription boxes. The surprise one, let's start with this one, is pond dipping. I've seen some amazing makes from that. And of course, join our Everyone a Maker Facebook group. And we will we always have a competition going on our Facebook group as well. The Maker's Box, we're sticking with the theme of the Valais sheep, is a very, very simplified version of the larger lamb, but it's been a fun project especially after the quite complicated and complex owl project. This one is one where you can just chill and get it done quickly, and it makes a sheep and a lamb. And then we have got the fairy box is still the amethyst fairy. She's dropped her amethyst again. I have to glue that in, I think. Don't know where it's gone. Anyway, she's holding a real amethyst for real, but this one, oh, she's got a bit of string attached to her. She's a bit of a messy one. I've seen some amazing interpretations of this one as well. Beautiful, beautiful fairies. You can make her with or without a face. That's entirely up to you. So that's still available for the rest of the month. Right, let's have a quick look at you're also you're also nice. So, guessing all these names. All these names, they're all in the book, which is amazing, because there's definitely a Hannes and Hannah doll. There is definitely a Romy, Fenya, Max, and Peter doll, and a Tomka doll, and there's a Mimi doll as well. So you are spot on, definitely. some of you have guessed the names of the children right as well, but like I said, just giving us names for the dolls in the book is perfect. So you will be picked at some point. I'm going to just go to the overhead camera again to show you the next sort of step. Right, let's stick with this head. So I've got, oh, actually, will I stick with this head? I will stick with this head, but no, I'm not going to stick with this head. So you're basically putting the tube directly, let's do it. It's a brown one, and I won't use this for showing you how to well, I could use that for needle felting onto it. It's just that this dark color doesn't show off very well on the camera. So I think it might be harder to see if I use than if I use a lighter head. But this is basically the shape of head that you would end up with, the shape and the features of the head that you would end up with. You see, you can't even see it that well in the camera, just holding it like this. But what I wanted to show you is what you need to do now. Just tie the base of this, sewing the back of the head up. I might just pin it, otherwise I'm going to be ages sewing this up. Will I be ages? I'll see how we go. I just very conscious that I don't want to keep you too long. These doll making sessions always take a little bit longer than the needle felting one. So I'm looking forward also to the needle felted one at so we're doing the standing chicken, and then we have got at the end of March we've got we're getting ready for the daisy fairy in March, and there I will be showing you two different variations of how to make daisies. So that the one is involving water soluble paper, one is involving our viscous wool felt. I'm just gonna sew this up quickly because I wanted to show you how to start with the facial features. So the head gets sewn up at the back. Remember, it would be really hard to make a completely bald doll unless you use the very, very simple head, because that obviously will be really smooth on the top. All the other heads have got this sort of flap. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I'm getting all confused. The Daisy Fairy is in April, and the Rainbow Fairy, we have the Rainbow Fairy first. And with the Rainbow Fairy, this is we're completing our 1-year fairy box. So it's an anniversary fairy. And if you've been there from the beginning, then we really thank you very much from the bottoms of our hearts, because it's actually a really strange thing to say, bottom of our heart. Anyway, from the depth of our hearts, for being there from the beginning. And we will release all the instructions for the fairies as well, and that will happen in April. So if you've missed out on any of the fairies, you can catch up. You just might have to wing it with some of the accessories, because we don't stock them all. But that's basically to come as well. And there's lots of exciting things to come. We're forever having lots of ideas. Oh dear, I'm making a mess of this, getting my thread in a tangle. I am just having to detangle that. There we go. So I'm doing like an overstitch, or almost like an invisible stitch, pulling the fibers. I'm doing this really fast just so that get to the end of it. But you can also pull the fabric back a little bit from the face by using this stitch, because all you want is, you just need to be able to see that part of the head. That's all you need to be able to see on the doll. Remember, you can design your own doll. It's not just about the color of the skin, but it's also the color of the eyes if you're giving her eyes or him. You can then next week we're talking about hair. And as I'm sewing the fabric together now, I would say we close the competition. So Emma, do your deeds and pick a lucky winner today, who we are going to send a flower brooch kit out to. So hopefully, fingers crossed, big drum roll, which I can't do. But that will be decided in a minute. And on Thursday, of course, it will be another winner if you're watching this on our Facebook Live repeat. Incidentally, if you're wondering who is there on Thursdays it's usually Hannah. Hannah is Sophie's sister, and she's been working with the makers for some time now in the background, but she has got the best time zone because she's actually remotely working from Canada. So, oh, that was the thread just broke. Well, one of them, but it's doubled up, so that's fine. Just keep going. I don't know if you're like me and you are not so familiar with a sewing machine, but you can definitely use the sewing machine for sewing most of the parts of the doll. This one will have to be done by hand. And we've got a winner today on Tuesday, the Tuesday live stream, the 16th of February, and that is Ava. Ava, whoever, however you pronounce it. So the flower brooch kit will be sent out to you in Norway, Ava. And if you drop us a line on our by email, then we will get back in touch with you and get your details that way. Perfect. That's great. So do I go all the way around? Oh, I'll just do it quickly. Sorry. Just trying to be as fast. Probably have to change thread as well. That's not going to last. Sometimes I go over this twice and I put another sort of row on top of the one that I've already done, because it allows me to pull the fabric even tighter. Because if the fabric is a little bit loose, then this is a great opportunity to tighten it a little bit more, so that the head, it's the face, you want it to be nice and snug. You don't want there to be any creases. You know, who wants creases and wrinkles in their face? And the dolls are no different. So that would be another way of making it even tauter. Is that a word? Tauter? Guess it is a word. Well, it is now. You know what I mean. More taut. No, it must be tauter. Doesn't sound right. But then it's probably because tauter in German means dead person. So it probably sounds completely wrong. Tauter. Okay, stop now. Right, I'm gonna make this last. I would go over this normally again because I like with dolls, I have learned my lesson. You have to be extra super diligent in sewing, because there's nothing as destructive as children's hands if you're making this for a child. Like I said, I've learned the hard way, where I thought, oh, this has been fastened on so much. How on earth did they manage to break this? But it does happen. Yeah, like I say, nothing as destructive as children's hands. But it's all good because they're playing with it. They're not meaning to, they're not setting to it, trying to destroy it. They're just playing with it. So it needs to be done nice and firm. Right, so I've done this now. So this part of the head is exactly what needs to look nice, and it does. And this part of the head you'll never see, because we're covering it either in hair or a hat, or both. And we're going to do that next week. So now you've got an option. You can either embroider into the face. I'll show you that very quickly. So for this, you need embroidery thread. Whatever color of eyes you choose to add, cut a bit off. Use your long doll needle. Secure the thread at the back. It's going to be a funny looking doll because I'm going to do both on this one. So secure the thread, and then you go all the way through the head onto where you, oh, not there, where you want the eye to go, probably around there. And then you come through, and now you can be as minimalistic or as maximalistic, that's not a word either, as elaborate as you want to be, by embroidering an eye onto theirs. The Waldorf way would be quite minimalistic. And then you go along underneath the face to do the second eye. I'm not going to do that because I want to needle felt an eye. So go out here again. To needle felt, you can be as elaborate as you like to be, or again as minimalistic. On here I actually needle felted a white patch on first, then a green pupil, then a black iris. Is that the right way around, or is it the other way around? And then I even needle felted a little sort of almost like an eyeliner underneath. If I do this on this doll, it would look absolutely freakish, so I'm not going to do that. And the little eyebrows, they are needle felted on, and then I've pulled the wool off again, so that just really tiny amounts are sticking on there. And I've done the same with the mouth. The little freckles are drawn on with a pen. So test your pen first on a piece of fabric you're not using in case it runs. Some are so juicy, the pens, that it just runs. But you can needle felt the facial features on there. And I'm not going to do that. I will show you, however, in the book how it's done. So if it's I'm pretty certain it's there, because the heads are covered separately. Can't actually remember what I've written in the book. It's one of those things where that's all the hair, which we're doing next week. So that's a good thing to look at. There are different ways of doing hair. So if you're interested in that, then do tune in next week. And I'm not sure I've even shown step by step how to needle felt the faces. I think it's just mentioned that you can needle felt them or sew them. And yeah, that's it basically. So I'm sure if you're a needle felter, you know how to needle felt faces. And if you're not, then maybe that is another live stream that we have to do. Oh, look, there is something needle felted there. You just literally stab it. All I would say is make sure that you have got, don't use too coarse a needle and don't use too fine a needle, and do very, very gentle shallow stabs, so it's not like you're going crazy on a needle felting as you would maybe do if you're trying to reduce something in size. You're going very gentle on this, and then you can needle felt a face onto it, or you can just sew it like with him. He's got a little bit of embroidery thread on his mouth, or you can make it very elaborate like with her there, or you can there's the other one. There's one here that has got a very delicately needle felted face on. Is that no? Can't even tell it apart anymore. Yes, this is needle felted, so it doesn't have to be very. So it's just like a little disc of brown, little pink mouth or red mouth, and that can also be made in that way. So if you are interested in buying a ready pack to make a doll, we do sell our Hannah and Sunny pack. This is incidentally Sunny. This is Hannah, and I think Hannah's is not here, but he's the blue version with legs like that rather than a pouch. So if you want everything in one place, there's also a tutorial on our website, on our YouTube channel already. And I think I'll leave it as that. I will just oh yes, and these lammy curls that you can see here, which is our boucle, is the doll's hair yarn actually, but we've got the natural color. We will be selling these. I promise you, we will be selling these as soon as we have finished with our makers boxes and we know what stock we have got left. But we've been very, very busy with our subscriptions. Thank you to you all for subscribing to our subscription boxes, and we just need to wait a little bit to make sure that those colors, that color boucle, will be back, or we have enough. It would be terrible if we couldn't do it for the lambs and the sheep in our subscription box. So holding on to some of those, but something to look forward to as well. Right, just a quick look. I think we've got all of that sorted now. So, oh, Jane says she remembers kapok stuffing. Yeah, it's quite fluffy stuff, but it's great for stuffing apparently. So anyway, that's all from me. I wave a big goodbye. We see you next week, and you can learn how to make short hair. This is using alpaca tops. Just see what I've got here. This is our mohair non-boucle hair, so it's just very fluffy and lovely to use. You can needle felt with that as well. Oh no, that's not a doll. I've not got any more dolls. Where have they all gone? Oh yeah, there's long hair. We'll show you how to make long hair on dolls as well, or maybe just embroidering it. That's another variety. So that's all something to look forward to for next week, and I hope you can join if you're around this Saturday, I will be demoing at the Creative Craft. This is the 20th of February. I will be creating at the Creative Craft Show. You have to buy a ticket for £7.99. It's so cheap. It's unbelievable. And you get 50 different tutorials. And most importantly, I'll be there twice. So you can watch me make a blue tit or a spring gnome. And then next week on Saturday, we have got our big mini cut needle felting tutorial with incorporation with the cut protection, and it has gone absolutely crazy. It feels like all we're doing at the moment is sending cut kits out, and so hopefully you'll be getting one of them. It's not too late to get yours, and that's on the 27th of February. Hopefully you'll find the link here in the comments, but otherwise go into the cut protection website and just search for Craft for Cats, and then you can find the link to our, and not to our, to where you can purchase it, and then we will send you the kit out, so you don't have to buy anything from us. It's all in aid of the little pussycats. So see you very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Stay positive and stay warm or cool wherever you are. Bye.